Okay, so we're going to have a look at some Ton Schultens. First of all, have a little talk about what we can see, and then have a go at drawing one of them. So when you look at Ton Schultens, what you'll notice, obviously these are landscapes, and first thing everyone notices of is the colour is much brighter. It's not actually realistic colour, but he does use quite a limited palette in a lot of his work. So you'll see that you've got your primary colours, yellows, red, your blues, and then your secondaries, purple, orange and green, and then you've got your black and white as well. Sometimes there's a bit of purple in there as well, but you know, it is actually quite a limited palette when you look at it. The next thing that I notice is that the middle of each painting is the lightest bit. So it's almost like he's played around with filters and changed the filter in certain bits. And they do tend to get darker as you go to the outside. So this section here and this section here are quite similar. And then you've got this section here and here, which are quite similar in colour. And then you've got this lighter section. And it's more or less the same on this one. So the outside is darker. And then you've got this really bright bit. This is your focal point. And the focal point in a picture is the bit that your eye is drawn to. So the eye is drawn to these two parts of the painting. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to sketch one out. I'm not going to do one of them, so I'm going to do this one. When you're doing these, if you're going to do a painting, I wouldn't suggest, unless it's something like this which is more simple, I wouldn't suggest doing the whole thing. So if you're going to do something like that, then do you know what, I'd probably just say do half of it, because you'll be there for a lot longer otherwise. Okay, right, so I'm going to start off just by sketching this out. So I've got a piece of paper. I'm going to sketch it out in this video, and then in the next video I'm going to do a painting of it. But if you haven't got paints, then you can just do a shaded version, and obviously the lightest bit would be the middle. Right, okay, I have got a ruler, but I'm not a big fan of rulers. And if you look at closely at his work, it's actually not, it's not all done with perfectly straight lines. So I'm not going to do it either. So I'm just looking at this section here, and then this section here. I'm going to talk a little bit, but then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop talking and speed the video up. So basically all I'm doing at the moment is trying to get the sections put in. So I'm putting this bit in here roughly, and I might need to tweak it. And then I can see I've got that little line there. So I'm going to put that line in. And then I'm just going to sort of have to go, right, so I've got this sort of line that's like a piece of, it's a bit of land in the foreground. So it's on an angle. So I'll probably put it like that. And then I can start filling these bits in. So I'll just do this section, and then I'm going to speed up the film. Okay, so roughly there. Right, okay, I think I've more or less got it sketched out. It's probably got some bits that I've missed, but anyway, I think if I can add colour to that, I'll end up with something that looks pretty similar. Okay, so if you want to do more than one copy of a picture, what I would suggest that you do is, if you want to keep a drawing and then a painting, what I'd suggest you do is do the technique where you colour on the back like that. I think if you remember from when you did what's it called, if you remember, if you're in this school, when you know, if you're in St Cuthbert's, when we did portraits, if you remember, if you colour on the back of the picture and then turn it onto your piece of paper, if you press a bit harder, you could do this in pen maybe, and it will press, if you press down hard, that will transfer it onto there, so you'd get two copies, because it's actually always really nice to have a painted version and then a version that's just maybe drawn as well. It just saves time, really. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do, that's the end of that. So that's how I've sketched mine out, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a painted version of this, and we'll see how accurate it looks. Okay, I'll see you soon.